Zahar TCG here. Today we have another video going over the state of the collectible trading card market. There has been a lot of price changes, and I think leading the way here we have the Spider-Man collector booster display. So if we look here, we can see around August to September is when the peak speculation was going from 1,900 to $800 a box. And since its release date, it has pretty much plummeted, losing probably 40% of its value, and settling in around 453 right now. It's still continuing to go down, but I do think we are going to start to see somewhat of a bottom. Why is a lot of this happening? I think there's a lot of issues going on in the economy that are kind of being hidden. I mean, if you take a look across most states, I think a lot of states in the US are showing signs of recession. There's probably between 20 and 25 that are already in or showing some significant signs of a recession. So, on top of, the demand destruction being created with tariffs and the slowdown in the economy, especially towards the consumers who are having to use credit cards and afterpay, there's a lot of demand destruction happening here. And in some of my YouTube videos here, the ones that did the worst actually, I talked about why I'm pausing Pokemon purchases, what can stop this insane bull market. And some of the stuff that I talked about was the demand destruction of people running out of money, these prices getting too high. If the economy kind of takes a little bit of a turn for the worse, then you're going to see a lot of these prices really correct. So let's go over to Destined Rivals. Pokemon has been holding up the best out of any TCG. So when I made this video here saying that I'm done with Pokemon, this was pretty much right at the peak of Destined Rivals price action right here, 467, almost 500, and since then it has come down and kind of solidified over here around 380, 390. So Pokemon is weathering the storm way better than a lot of these other TCGs, but that doesn't mean that they're excluded from this little bit of a crash too. We can go over to Mega Evolutions, and this one's been the most steady out of them all, but recently you can see it's starting to come down. We'll see if the buyer demand down here picks up, as it has a little bit, but as long as this keeps coming down, it could get quite ugly if the buyer demand doesn't pick up and create a base floor for this. We can go over to the Avatar set that's coming out here for Magic. This has some crazy price speculation here too, really coming down after the Spider-Man little bit of a debacle in Magic. People are really starting to, return back to normalcy, not go too crazy over some of these prices. Can look at even Disney Lorcan. Not super familiar with this, but this is their most recent set. It looks like, right around 150 bucks. That seems reasonable to me. And what I've been focusing a lot on this channel is Riftbound. We're really excited for the launch of this, and Riot actually just did a recent reprint, a really small one actually, only one per customer on their Riot ID system. But that has the correlation of that announcement here when it was sitting at 276, it was announced around this time, has really put a big dip in the price here. You see this huge spike in demand, 49 items sold, but it's still continuing to go down, 219. This is something that I'm going to be watching closely, as here in the next 11 days, this will be launching officially. So we're seeing a lot of price corrections. I think a lot of this is healthy. And I think we're also seeing some strain on consumers here. You need to have someone to buy all this product. They've been printing so much of this product more with how crazy the TCG market has gone. So you're really seeing a lot of corrections right now. Really, my take on this was I did not predict this. I did not. It was just a coincidence in timing with my videos here. Honestly, there were some signs, but you can never really predict. No matter what anybody says, nobody can predict the top. Nobody can predict these markets. But it was very overblown, very overheated, and I think this is a good natural correction here. What I'm going to be keeping an eye on is how the government shutdown goes, what we're seeing with the economy. In my local economy here in Florida, I do a lot of business in real estate, and that has been super slow, as not so many people are buying these houses with interest rates being high, and just the demand has really fallen off a cliff and been falling off a cliff since 2022. So I think a lot of people in certain industries are hurting: real estate, construction. People do not feel as confident to spend their money right now, especially with this government shutdown. I'm going to be slowing down my purchasing like I talked about in that previous video about Pokemon. But I'm going to be focusing just pretty much on Riftbound's launch. There's going to be a lot of opportunity with this game here. So I'm going to be tracking this Origins price box, the booster display here. And just when I see a good price on it, I'll be purchasing that. We're going to have to also keep a close eye on how long this government shutdown lasts. If we're lasting more than 30, 40 days, I think things in the economy could really show some more signs of cracking. Um, in the past, the government and a lot of these people have had vested interest in not letting that happen. They want to keep these markets afloat. And if you look at the stock market's actually not doing too bad. But really, that's the only thing that is doing well right now. Everything else has been trading sideways, correcting a little bit. And that's natural. We need that. That's a good thing. So the faster that we can get this, the faster we can, start to rebuild and find a bottom. I think that's for the good. So just keep an eye out on, the products that you're really interested in at good prices. And when you see a good price, you know, purchase there. So let me know what you guys think about the state of the TCG card market. Do you think a lot of these cards are going to be crashing even more? Do you think we're finding a little bit of a bottom here? What are your thoughts on the market right now, and what are you buying? Are you buying anything? Are you taking a break? Thanks for watching. Malzar TCG. Subscribe.